Hey everybody, it's Mama. Welcome back to Mama's Zodi Tarot. So today we are looking into G Dragon's energy. I got a couple of comments requesting me to look into the K-pop star. They call him the king of K-pop, actually, G Dragon. So why not? Let's jump right into it and not waste any time. I have my questions already written down and all of my cards pulled. So we're starting off with G Dragon's public persona versus his true inner personality. So let's start with his public persona. Okay, so as far as his public persona, we have the Page of Cups with the Five of Swords here. So this is telling me that he's a little bit of he has a duality to him where sometimes he could be a bit reckless. He'll shock you or surprise you with his behavior sometimes. He's a little bit unconventional, doesn't really follow the normal behavior of what society would expect of him. He really just will shock you sometimes and does what makes him happy and does what he feels like. He's a very strong-willed person with the Strength card coming out as far as his public persona. Very passionate, very self-reliant, courageous, not afraid to express himself creatively with this Queen of Wands, express his feminine side, just very passionate. And like I said, sometimes can be a little bit shocking with the lengths that he's willing to go or the certain behaviors that he does, because it's not what most people would expect. So, maybe he's the type that likes to wear nail polish or something of the sort. But like either way, he just does things that are unconventional and not normally what you would expect. We also have the Five of Swords. So he does have a little bit of, like I said, a bad boy, a sneakiness to him where it's like he has that bad boy vibe, where he'll just do whatever it is that he needs to do to get what he wants. He don't mind stepping on whoever he needs to step on, like that egotistical bad boy. Like I said, that's his persona. We also have Knight of Pentacles. So someone who's very hardworking, who's always going to put in all the energy and the work into what it is that he is looking for. He doesn't mind taking his time, moving slow. He doesn't rush. He's very patient when it comes to his music career and his personal life and building what it is that he wants to build in terms of his legacy and like the music that he puts out. He puts a lot of work into it and he's very patient to make sure that it's the best. We also have the Lovers. So this tells me that he's really into his loving side, his caring side, his sexual side as well. I think that this Queen of Wands with the Lovers kind of gives ladies man, where it's like the girls love him, the girls like him. He's charming. He's that knight in shining armor kind of vibe where people look at him and it's like, I want him, I like him, So yeah, that's his public persona, and definitely appreciated and loved, like super duper loved, and by his people and his supporters and everything like that. He has a very, very good reputation. And see about his true inner personality. Okay, so on the inside, he actually goes through a lot, which we know is the typical for most of these celebrities and musicians and stuff. They go through a lot internally, even though they keep up a good image and they put on a brave face. It feels like on the inside, he's just a very calm, peaceful person who would prefer to be on his own with his Four of Swords. He preferred to be alone and be in solitude. He's comfortable just being by himself. We also have the Wheel of Fortune. So I think that he internally understands that he's went through a lot of things. He's been through a lot of ups and downs, but he still keeps a positive outlook. He still keeps a positive mindset when it comes to life. He still believes in, good luck, and he still believes in miracles and that good things can happen to him. We also have the Page of Pentacles, so further emphasizing, that hardworking nature that we saw with this Knight of Pentacles. He's very, very hardworking, and that is true, not only just on the outside, but on the inside. He is a very hardworking person, possibly even overworking, always feeling like he needs to keep going, keep being diligent, like never stopping. He might have a little bit of a lack mindset when it comes to money, like, where he just feels like he always has to keep working so that way he could keep his success and his abundance and his financial situation good. But definitely a hard worker, even to the point of being an overworker, where he'll distract himself from his emotions and his feelings by burying himself in his work. Queen of Cups tells me that he's very intuitive, very compassionate, a very nurturing person, definitely in tune with his spiritual side, which I think goes back to that Strength card, where it's like he gets that that strength from his inner intuitiveness. He already understands, that there's going to be ups and downs when it comes to life. And he's still just loving and caring and compassionate. And so he's able to maintain that strength and that optimism when it comes to his life, because he's in tune with his divine nature, right? And his intuition and his psychic abilities and things like that. And he cares a lot about other people too as well. It tells me with this Eight of Wands that sometimes he will move quickly, when it comes to helping people, and that'll turn out to be heartbreaking for him because he doesn't think it over. He can be very impulsive when it comes to giving and giving and giving and giving and giving, and sometimes he may not receive that equal amount that he gave in return. So sometimes just being taken advantage of and being used. And I think that he also has been through a lot of heartbreaking situations with this Three of Swords, where internally he deals with sadness. He sometimes deals with pain and heartache. But like I said, he buries himself in his work as opposed to dealing with it, and chooses to just be impulsive and focus on working and traveling and being on top of his work, and, focusing on that and moving fast when it comes to his career, and not really so much when it comes to his emotional baggage and all of the emotional weight that he's carrying. He's the type of person that, how when you go through stuff, like some people will think about it for a long time over and over. He's not like that with this Eight of Wands. He'll get over things quickly and move forward and just try to move on from it and act like it doesn't bother him. But yeah, let's see about the hidden intentions and his motivation for having a career. Why did he truly want to be G-Dragon and have this music career? Okay, so we have the World and the Page of Swords. So I feel like he really wanted to speak his truth. He obviously wanted to show to the world, who he really was, and stand in that, and stand tall in that. And I think that he wanted to show the world that it's okay to be who you are and stand behind what it is that you believe in. You don't have to compromise yourself. You don't have to be different. You don't have to pretend like you're somebody that you're not. Like, you can stand tall and just stand in your own power and your own personal truth. So I think that his entire motivation behind having a career was just overcoming his obstacles and showing people that you can be different and still be accepted and be loved and be appreciated and have everything that you want when it comes to your life. We also have the Eight of Swords with the Page of Wands. So yeah, it was all about freeing himself from whatever limitations he felt like was holding him back in life, and seeing the bigger picture and understanding that this was something that he's always wanted with the world here. Like, he's always felt like that was going to be the ultimate goal of his ultimate wish fulfillment. And he felt like, his story was going to be one of perseverance and overcoming and not giving up and continuing to push forward and move forward and go after what you want, even when you're being met with people trying to stop you, people trying to hold you back, people trying to keep you stuck. Like, it's all about overcoming obstacles and persevering through obstacles in your dark days and people just coming against you. And then lastly, we have the the Seven of Pentacles with the Nine of Wands, because the Eight of Swords is here, so I'm looking at that. But yeah, it's the Seven of Pentacles, with the Nine of Wands. So this was also about him showing how, like, hard work, perseverance, standing tall, like, literally, how that can get you to where you want to go. You don't have to do anything compromising. You don't have to do anything against your will. You can still take a stand, and be yourself. And even if you are the underdog and you don't look like you're the one who's going to come out on top, you still will persevere. You still will come out on top. Even if your success is delayed, don't worry about the gratification. Don't worry about getting the accolades. Just keep working hard, persevering, and being you. And eventually you will overcome and persevere and come out on top, even if you are the underdog. Wow. So that's dope. So we know he's not doing anything compromising in terms of his career. He's fully in creative control of his career, and he gets to do what he wants. And he's a testimony to, standing firm in that and doing what it is that makes you happy, and not compromising or negotiating your spirit. All right, so let's see. My next asks, how did he become G-Dragon? Like, his rise to fame. Beautiful. Beautiful. It's basically what I said, you guys. So we have rest and sacred contracts. So it was one of those things where he allowed himself to be at peace about the situation because he understood that this was already meant for him. He tapped in with that, that Queen of Cups nature that he has, his intuition and his abilities, and he knew that this was always going to happen for him, that he just had to keep grinding, keep working, and not stress, not allow himself to become overwhelmed or compromise his spirit or do any, sign any contracts that he wouldn't feel comfortable with, and just know that it was always going to work out, and it was going to work out, right? We have divine messages and brave spirits. So he was tapping in with his ancestors, his guides, and the universe, and he knew that as long as he stayed on a divine path and he kept his divine nature and he did good and he stood on his morals and his principles, then everything was going to turn out in his favor. Everything was going to work out as long as he was brave, even if that meant doing things that people wouldn't normally do, going against people that people wouldn't normally go against. Like, he wasn't afraid to do those things in order to have his career. And then we also have soul family and sweet success. So this tells me that he cherished his friends, his family, the people that he worked with, everyone who helped to make him who he was and to get him to where he went. He always cherished them and appreciated them and allowed them to enjoy his success with him. Enjoy the successes and the fruits of his labor. He allowed them to always be with him and be around. He doesn't mind helping them, being financially tied to them and doing things for them. Like, this was really his motivation, was even to just help his family and bring abundance and wealth to his family and his friends and the people that he cared about and those that was in need. And then we also have eternal love and sacred marriage. So this tells me that he genuinely is a very loving, caring person. Like, nothing about that is fake, and that's why he was able to receive that that same eternal love back from his fan base and from the people that support him and love him. Like, he's pretty much giving out that hug to the universe, and the universe is hugging him back. Like, this tells me that he was kind of sent here, as we said, with Isis and the sacred contracts, to be this musician and to impart his wisdom and be his true self and share his love and his music and his personality and everything about him with the world. He was supposed to share his gifts with us, and he was going to always be received well. And that was his, that's how he became who he was, by staying true to his divine nature and his loving and caring nature, and it all worked out for him beautifully. So wow, that's amazing. Love that for G Dragon. Let's see about some of his early music career struggles though. Shaolin Master, interesting. Shaman in reverse, Protection Guardian in reverse, Drum and Stag. Okay, so some of his early music career struggles were people trying to pretty much siphon off of his abilities, like pretty much having him in mental confusion and not paying attention to his spiritual gifts. Like, people were trying to pretty much confuse him, like literally not siphon, but come do like spell work, throw the energy of mental confusion towards him, so he wasn't trusting in his higher forces, so that he wasn't trusting in his shamanistic abilities, and he wasn't moving gracefully, and because it says be graceful in movement and action, and it says trust in higher forces, and then it says drop your shields, coming out of reverse. So they wanted him to drop his shields, and they wanted him mentally confused, so that he wasn't trusting in his shamanistic abilities, and he wasn't able to move gracefully and make smart decisions and sound decision making and be at peace. Then we also have Drum, which is dream and journey, and Stag, trust and thrive. So another thing was, people were trying to confuse his dreams, trying to confuse him and make him think that he wasn't always going to be able to do it the authentic way, that he was going to have to compromise himself. All right. They was telling him that he was always going to be waiting. I'm looking at this clock. They're like, you're going to be waiting, hoping and wishing for the rest of your life to have your dreams come to fruition if you don't do this, do what we say and allow yourself to be controlled and allow yourself to be taken advantage of. But he would not. He felt that if he continued to, trust in his own self, if he continued to be stubborn, this tells me that he had a very stubborn energy and he was not allowing himself to be taken advantage of. And that is what kept him in a good place. But this was a, early career struggle for him, that people was trying to get him to let his guard down and not keep himself protected with that protection guardian coming out in reverse. What about his personal struggles? Archangel Raphael, solar plexus chakra, meditation, and fire elemental. So as far as his early personal struggles, like getting the time to be able to meditate, like I said, getting the time to be able to really connect with his divine nature, because he was always working, he was always on the go. We also have solar plexus chakra. So it's like I'm also getting crown chakra. So his crown chakra and his solar plexus chakra was overactivated. So what this is telling me is that people were trying to force him, into doing things that he didn't want to do. It says, I take actions daily that awaken my personal power. So people were trying to take advantage of him, have him do things that he didn't want to do. His crown chakra was overactive, so he was very much in his ego self. So he was excited to have this career and he was excited to have everything, but it was sort of like he was struggling between his mind and his body, because he knew that he needed to meditate, he needed to relax, he needed to be at peace, but he was kind of fighting with his ego and wanting to have fun, be outside, hang out with people, party, like do all those things that we want to do, drink, like just live his best life. But he understood that he was at risk of going down a dark path if he would have allowed himself to go into those toxic habits with his fire elemental. If he really allowed himself to just be in his ego self and have all, ignite, do everything that he was passionate about, no matter what the consequences may be, then he knew that he was going to be in trouble. So that was definitely an early personal struggle for him. And then also with Archangel Raphael, it was really about him making smart decisions and not having that guidance, not having people around him that was giving him good knowledge and giving him good information in order to make good decisions. So having to do that all on his own, and also, only be able to rely on his ancestors and his guides to help him make a good decision, but not really being able to have the time and the safe space and the, alone time, the isolation to be able to meditate and do that. So those are some of his early personal struggles. Let's see about currently. What is he focusing on right now? What is G-Dragon focusing on right now? Okay. Interesting. So no more hiding in beautiful change. He's focusing on embracing this new change that he's in. It seems like he's evolving when it comes to his music career. I don't know if he just terminated his contract or like he's signed with a new label or something, but it feels like he's, evolving, and he's at a place where he can actually stand in his own personal power. He doesn't have to hide who he truly is. He can do whatever he wants. He has complete creative control and freedom over his music, and he's entering a change, his butterfly era, where he's having this beautiful change and he can stand firm in who he is and he can do whatever. He's evolving and he's happy about it, and he can do what makes him happy and shine brightly like the butterfly that he is. So he's much more at balance and he's much happier and more at peace. We have share your gift and face your shadow coming out in reverse. So he's able to share his gifts authentically. He doesn't have to hide his shadow. He doesn't have to pretend that he's somebody that he's not. And he's really just enjoying being able to share his gifts authentically and not pretend, not be fake, not hide, not have to, put on an image, wear no mask. He's fully integrated, his light and shadow aspects. And he's really at a point of just being integrated with his masculine and feminine and standing in his personal truth and sharing his gifts. We have there is always enough and end of a cycle. So this is telling me that he was going through issues when it came to his resources, when it came to his finances, when it came to his money, when it came to him really being supported and taken care of by his label. But that cycle has ended. He doesn't have to deal with that anymore. He understands that he could go somewhere else where he's going to be taken care of. Y'all, did he recently change up his label? Because this is really feeling like he's evolving and moving and going towards where he's being loved and he's being taken care of, and he's leaving the past in the past and closing out that cycle and really going where he gets his flowers and he gets the resources, the backing, the money, everything that he needs. He's undergoing a serious spiritual transformation and having a complete new beginning with this Kali Ma and Persephone coming out here. And he's really just enjoying this new beginning. It doesn't seem like he's stressed, overwhelmed, sad at all. He's really just happy. And he's able to just really do what he wants. It's like he has all these different ideas creatively of what he wants to create, what he wants to do. And so he's in a hermit mode with this Persephone. It's like, I think of Persephone, how she went down to, down there to the underworld. He's kind of in his own personal underworld right now, just cooking up, new ideas, creating, really, really creating, so that he can come strong with, more music, more albums, more stuff for us. So that's really what he's focusing on right now. He's kind of in a, like I said, even though he's showing up like the butterfly, it's like he's about to be going back into a cocoon mode. He has something that he has brewing up. I don't know if he has a new album that's about to come out, but he has something brewing. But after he does that, he's going to be going back into his cocoon phase with this Kali Ma and Persephone and allowing himself to recuperate, rest, and cook up some new ideas and bring us something new again. So that's beautiful. All right, let's see about his current music struggles, if any. Moon, Seer, Arrow, High Priest, and Eagle. I don't really feel like there's any, like, he's been paying attention. There is some drama with this moon. Like, there's people that's trying to, working behind the scenes, working against him, that don't want to see him move forward with this seer, that don't want him protected and moving forward with this arrow. And they see that he has this intent to create, with this intent to create here with the high priest, and that he's standing in his personal power, that he is looking at things from a higher perspective. He is in his ego energy. His third eye chakra is open, with this third eye being here. Like, he's really focused and doing what he needs to do. And people see that, and they don't want him to be able to, like, they don't want him moving forward and seeing past his current circumstances with this seer here. So they're trying to cook up little things in the background with this moon here, but he's paying attention. He's focused, he's aware, he's paying attention to all of the intuitive messages that he's getting about people trying to work against him in terms of his music career, his old label. Like, anybody that's working against him at this time, he's very much able to see it. I do see November here with success and career. So this is basically telling me that November, we're going to start to see more, in terms of his career. We're going to hear about his success, all the things that's working out for him, all of his abundance. It's going to be a very, very abundant time for him, and prosperous time in terms of G-Dragon's career. We also have Torch, Pineapple, and Bell. And then we have Door coming out sideways. So this is telling me that he is, with this Torch and Pineapple, evolving past whoever his past label was. I don't know, you guys, but they were trying to reconcile with him, but he was being divinely guided to move forward and go past this and open up a new opportunity and close out that door. That's why Door is coming out sideways. And so I don't know if he's already made this announcement, if it's already came out, but if not, it's going to be coming out soon. More about what new things he's going to be doing, and how he's not reconciling or working with anybody from his past because they weren't treating him fairly, with Fair Man coming out in reverse. And now that he is aware of the red flags coming out sideways, he's not trying to make any foolish or childish mistakes with this grasshopper coming out here. All right, it says situations in the balance that requires careful handling. So he's trying to be very, very smart, keep his standards high, not work with anybody that doesn't want to promote his career in the way that he needs, and who's not going to support him. And he's definitely not reconciling with anybody from his past in terms of his music career and his collaborations and his management and all of that. So wow, that's pretty clear as day that he's moving forward. He's not trying to go through any more stress and heartache in terms of his music career. So let's see about his group career, because I do see reconciliation coming out here. So I would like to know what's going on, because I know he also has a group. So are they going to be coming out with music too? What's going on in terms of his group career? Because we know that he has that as well. We have, the Five of Swords and the Knight of Wands in reverse. So there's some egos clashing here. There's some arguments and issues happening and fights happening. What is this over? What is the arguments and fights over? It is Knight of Wands in reverse. Is this G-Dragon? Oh man, Knight of Swords coming out in reverse as well. So there's arguments amongst these guys. They're not on the same page in terms of their career and what they want to do as far as music, because they feel like G-Dragon is so focused on his solo career. He's all in his ego self. He's, just making decisions that only benefit him. And they feel like this, he's really unpredictable, and they don't know what he's thinking. They don't know what he's going to do in terms of the group career. He's very unpredictable. They're not sure if he wants to keep making music with them. Is he only focusing on his solo career? Like, there's just a lot of mental confusion here with this Knight of Swords in reverse, and it's causing a lot of arguments. And it's just trouble in paradise right now between these three or four, or however many of them is six, or however many of them it is. But there's definitely arguments. So what is the outcome gonna be here? I can't make it up. Affairs with your family. I just put the deck on tree. So there's trouble in paradise in terms of this group. So what is going on here with the group? What do they call it? Big Bang or something like that? Hidden secrets can harm you and fly. A period of ill health and depression. So they're stressed. They feel like he's making bad decisions with this period of ill health that's harming them. And I don't know if he's doing things behind their back and he's not telling them about it, but tell me more about these hidden secrets that can harm him. What is this? Broken wishbone coming out in reverse. So yeah, it's like he's making them false promises, because now I'm hearing it. I know he's sick and tired of broken promises. So he keeps making them promises, and then he's not holding up on his end of the bargain and actually coming through on those promises that he made in terms of what he's going to do in terms of their career. And he's doing a lot of things behind their back. Yeah, oh my God. It says getting together with friends coming out in reverse. So they are very unhappy with him. They haven't been getting together. They're not on the same page. They're not happy with each other right now. They're not dogs right now. It's issues. Anything else? Acts, forces working against you. They feel like he is working against them and he's not putting in all the effort and the hard work when it comes to their group career. Why though? Why is he so focused on his solo career? Crib coming out in reverse. So it's like he's worried about starting over, building anew. It says birth or conception of a child or enterprise. So the label too, him moving labels. Yeah, news of a birth or business opportunity. So it's like he's getting all these new business opportunities. And listen, rat on the bottom of the deck, someone working against you behind your back. They feel like he's working against them behind his back because he's got all these new ventures. He's trying to create something new. He's changing labels. He's moving on. He's moving forward. He's got all these new business opportunities and business ventures. And they feel like he's working against them and he's not focused on his group career when it comes to what Big Bang is working on. And so it's causing a lot of disagreements and anger right now. So, they feel like he's not holding the space for his group career. And with this mountains, they're standing their ground against him. It's a lot of arguments. And they see that he's setting his sights higher and trying to move forward. And they feel like he's been feeding them a bunch of lies with this air guardian. Yeah, and now their perspective is shifting and they feel like they cannot trust him with their spirit fox. They cannot trust him because he wants to work alone. He wants to work behind their back and do things on his own. It says trust your talents in changing times. So they see that he's focused more on his solo career and he don't really care about the group. And he's been making a lot of false promises in terms of what he's going to create and what he's going to do with them. And they tired of it. They don't want to hear it no more. They're very much aware with this high priestess and they know that he's lying and he's been working against them. And so listen, with this reconciliation, it's looking like reconciliation is going to be a problem because he's continuing, with this torch to move forward. And with this announcement, once he makes this announcement to them and let them know about this, they're going to feel like he has not treated them fairly. And they're going to be like, we knew with this red flag that you was going to be closing out the door. Wow. So yeah, that's a twofold energy right there where he's going to be letting the group know that he don't really want to keep working with them. And they're going to feel like he's a rat in the energy and he's been working against them this whole entire time. I can't make it up. Double eagle here, but eagle coming out again with triumph over trouble and obstacles. So it's like he pretty much don't care. He's like, he's still going to triumph over whatever it is that they try to do to work against him. Even if they try to sabotage his solo career because he don't want to work with them no more, he feel like he's still going to triumph over all of the obstacles and the fire and destruction that they try to create for him. It says strong emotion, passionate love or hate. So it's going to be some passionate hate right now between these guys. And I don't know, remember November came out and then now we're seeing December here. So he's showing up as very, very cold and they're showing up as very cold towards him. And it's going to be a lot of chaos and drama surrounding the situation because he's going to be choosing his own happiness and the group is not going to like that. So let's see about his personal struggles currently. Balance, flames of wisdom, celebrate life and earth elemental, staying grounded. He's so much in his ego self right now, you guys. Even though he is a good person, overall, he's a very kind, compassionate person. He's struggling with really being balanced right now. All right. It says, I understand and embrace the opposing forces in life that bring about balance. So remember I told you about the yin and the yang. It's like right now he feels like with these zebra stripes, he feels like his reputation is spotted. He's damaging his reputation. He's doing things to harm his own people, right? The group, he knows that. And so he's going through a lot of turmoil, inner turmoil, even though he feels like he's choosing his own life and he's, partying, living life and enjoying, celebrating life, doing what makes him happy. He has a hard time feeling grounded and feeling grateful for the abundance and everything that God has given him because he's choosing to separate himself from his group in order to have this. There's a part of him that he feels like is going against his friends and his family. He feels like he's going against them in order to have this. And so it says, I am open to all of life's wisdom and share it with gratitude. So I feel like, he's not able to really be happy, be at peace, enjoy his life. Like he's not happy on a day-to-day. He's struggling with being happy because, he knows that what he's doing and what he's choosing to do is harming other people in the process. So he can't really feel at peace and balanced in what it is that he's choosing to do. So he's struggling with that. He's not just, even though he isn't his ego self, he's struggling with the fact that he's in his ego self and he's choosing himself. He's struggling with that choice and that decision right now. So I think that ultimately with this cosmic knowledge, and oh my God, here we go, Mawu Lisa coming out again in balance and emotional healing. It's one of those things where it's like he knows that ultimately he got to do what's best for him and he got to choose himself, even if he comes off as a snake, even if he comes off bad, even if it, doesn't look so good. He's got to do what he knows is right for himself. He's went through a lot in terms of his group career, it feels like. So I just want to know about this. Tell me about this emotional healing. What is it that he went through in terms of his group career that he feels like he needs to move on from this? The sun. He feel like this is what would be his ultimate happiness. That's what would make him happy, is to move forward and choose his own solo success and go out by himself. But why? King of Swords. Listen, he feels like that's it says head over heart, truth, discipline, strategic thought. So he feel like he's being guided ancestrally to do that, right? That's the right decision. He got his head screwed on straight. He's making the right choice. He's not allowing his emotions to get the best of him. He wants to be disciplined. It's giving the energy that they want. They was making him do things that he wasn't comfortable with. They was, and what was going on in terms of the group, Two of Cups. If in terms of they were lacking in unity. There was an imbalance here. There was tension. I can't make it up with the King of Cups and the Star. And it's like he wanted to choose his own happiness. He got the inner clarity that he needed in terms of what he wanted to do to bring back balance to his life, because he was out of whack emotionally. He wasn't balanced. He was going through a lot of pain and heartache. And so he felt like the best decision to make in terms of what his ancestors are telling him, what his heart is telling him, what his higher self is telling him, is to choose a solo career, go after what makes him happy, do for himself, and not choose to be in a group career. Even though he is this loving, compassionate, kind person, they tell him to, yes, be in his ego self right now with the Star. He needs to be in his ego self because he needs to rejuvenate, and he's been overworked and he's been in the spotlight, and he hasn't been able to find that inner peace and balance. And so it's time for him to truly get that. And that means, yes, leaving his group career in the past and focusing on his solo career. This is being divinely guided for him to enjoy his own success and have that solitude. It says self-sufficiency rewards. So it's all about him, doing it alone and being self-sufficient. So that's what I have in terms of, his career and what he's currently doing. Let's see about his love life, because I know this video is probably going to be a little bit long. But let's see about his love life. What is he looking for? What is G-Dragon looking for in terms of love and a love partner? Okay, so we have the Ace of Wands and the Three of Pentacles. So he's looking for somebody who he could work together with, that inspires him to create. That's like his muse. Possibly even someone who's also a musician, who he's on like the same page with and the same wavelength with. Like they have similar skills and they can work together to create things. I think, yeah, he's looking for someone with a similar skill set to him so that they can work together and create new things. And it's all about his, it can't just be built off of lust for him. It has to be a passion. It has to be something that him and his partner is creating together, like something tangible and physical, like a business or just something that they're working together on together, a creative project. So that's what he's looking for. As well, we also have the Hierophant with the Emperor in reverse. So he's looking for someone who's not going to be controlling, who's not, just with him because of what he could offer, who's with him just because of what he could bring to the table. Like, he really wants someone who genuinely just loves him for him, not because of him being G-Dragon. Also, with this Hierophant, it tells me that he's very traditional when it comes to love and what he's looking for from love. He wants a traditional spiritual union, somebody who is, as spiritually in tune as he is, who is on their spiritual path and their journey, and who's connected with their intuition and believes in really like our loyalty, and truth, and like actually staying together for the long haul. He don't want somebody who's just there for a good time. He wants somebody who's there for a long time. We also have the Magician and the Four of Cups. So I feel like, like I said, he's looking for somebody who is on the same page with him creatively, right? And spiritually, on all wavelengths. He needs this person to be resourceful, somebody who he could rely on, somebody who he could go to when he's feeling sad, when he's feeling like it gives a little bit of codependency, I will not lie. But he is looking for somebody who wants that long-term security, who he is always going to be around. They're not going to never leave him. Like, he could spend all day with them. He can go to them whenever he's having a bad day. He could just be like, babe, did you notice what happened to me today? And I was stressed out. And he's just looking for somebody who is always going to be there for him, who's going to provide him that safe space and be there for him when he needs, and it's always going to be around for the long haul, like I said. And then lastly, we have the Two of Cups, 2 angel number. So he's looking for something fated. He's looking for like a divine union, a divine connection, to be honest. He looking for something where it's like, he kissed the person and he feels that spark. Like, he really is looking for somebody that he feels God directly sent to him. And it's not a decision, right? He wants love at first sight, pretty much. Like, he wants to meet this person and immediately recognize their soul and know that they're the person for him. And he gotta, he don't have to even think about it or be all in his head about it. Like, even if, he was blindfolded, this will be the person. Like, he really just wants to find somebody that has a divine spiritual connection with, that he has like some sort of karmic past life with. That's really what he wants, to be honest. So that way he feels like God really, really sent this to him, and this was meant for him, and it was divinely guided with the tutu, and that angel number, that it was fated. I'll also ask, how has love treated him in the past? Interesting. Oh. Okay, so we have Camel. So he's definitely went through some things where he's had to persevere and overcome in terms of his love life, where people have, I feel like, not wanting to move forward with him with this caterpillar in reverse, where he thinks that everything is always going to be perfect, everything is always going to be the same. It says things will always be this way. A change is coming, but it's coming out in reverse. So he's went through ups and downs, like obstacles, where he thought that he was always going to be with a person and they was going to persevere and overcome obstacles and stay together forever. Like I said, he wants somebody for that long-term security, but then it turns out not to be the case with this frying pan in reverse. It's like there's always trouble, there's always stress. Even though there's passion, it's like this person be pretty much selling him a dream, selling him a story that, with this trouble and accusation, that they always going to be around, and then they don't hold up their end of the bargain. Like they go, they get into their passionate side, and they want to go out and go after other things and have fun, and they'll be like, I think maybe we should just go back to being friends, and I still want to explore and have fun. So with this disappointment in a friend or a lover coming out here, it's like I see fluke, but I'm hearing fluke. It's like people be turning out to be flukes, like they be flaking on him, and he be thinking that they're always going to be around, but then they end up choosing to go after something else. And with this cup, it says you should accept valid criticism. So it's like one of those things, like I said, where they're selling him a dream, telling him one thing, talking, but then it turns out to be something else. Also dealing with people who were judgmental, who was criticizing him, not giving him his flowers, making it seem like he was always doing something wrong, like he was, possibly accusing him of cheating and accusing him of doing things, but the whole time they were the one that was cheating and doing things to him. So yeah, he's dealt with some serious disappointments in lovers. All right, let's see about now. I said, is he currently dating? Shark in reverse, older woman, mule, and seahorse. I feel like not really, because like I said, he is a very stubborn person. And he is one of those people who, is not quick to change and not quick to move on. So I wouldn't say he's openly dating a bunch of different people right now. It feels like there's specifically an older woman, a woman that's a little bit older than him, that he is dealing with. And with this family matters and seahorse, it makes me feel like he's known her for a long time. He's been around her for a long time. He's been dealing with her for a long time. Like he's unwilling to move on. Both of them are seeming to be real stubborn in the situation. So he's been dealing with her for a while, and it says take care or there will be a loss of material wealth, but that's coming out in reverse. So he's not worried about any kind of material wealth or anything that he might lose in terms of this woman. It seems like he's just comfortable dealing with her. Is this a situation? Is he happy? Tower and ladder coming out in reverse. This person distracts him from focusing on his work. This person is definitely with this shark, getting his finances tied up. Like he spends a lot of money on this person, whoever this older woman is. He spends a lot of money on her, and that's what's distracting him from his work. He had great personal sorrow. He goes through a lot of pain and sorrow behind this person, but because he just, like I said, has a hard time being able to move forward, even though they go through a lot of, family matters and stress and things, ups and downs and obstacles, he chooses to just stay, I just heard something about a blowfish. So, okay, she just be blowing a lot of smoke in his ears and telling him, a lot of nonsense, but he just be believing it. And even though he goes through a lot of personal sour, oh my God. So yeah, she left a sour taste. He has a sour taste about this woman, and she's a very sour, bitter person. She might even have a smell. I don't know. She might smell sour. I don't. Oh my God. But either way, he has a sour taste in his mouth about her, and he's went through a lot of pain and heartache behind her. But he can't seem to leave her alone. He can't seem to move on from her, and it distracts him from his work. I'm seeing get back to basics and dog protection from a powerful friend. So yeah, it's one of those things where they have an on and off relationship, and he keeps going back to her because she's, she has a he's like a loyal, a very, very loyal person, and she's like she gives me black cat energy, and then he gives, golden retriever energy. But she kind of gives like sneaky black cat energy, to be honest. And he keeps going back to her because he feels like that's what he knows. That's all he knows. And he's just like this. She's looking at him like this loyal dog that'll always just come back and never leave him. And it says rooster, an arrogant, boastful person you should not cross. So she's very arrogant and boastful, and you feel like he can't cross her. Even though he goes through a lot of pain in terms of their relationship, he chooses to still let her put him through all that stress and deal with her. So that's unfortunate. I asked about future predictions to close out the reading in terms of his music career. We have feather, teapot, and coins. So Feather and Teapot came out in reverse and Coin's coming out sideways. So they're telling him that he's got to start, in terms of his music career, he's got to be real. He's got to go after what he wants. It says someone you know is undependable and insincere coming out in reverse. So they telling him, do not feel like he's undependable and he's insincere just because he's choosing to do what makes him happy. Confirmation, like he's been with this feather, he's already got the message, he's already gotten the ancestral guidance that he's got to choose himself. And even though with this deep friendship with someone of the same sex, he has a deep friendship with his other bandmates and the other people a part of the group, they're saying that he's got to choose him, he's got to choose his future, his success, his happiness, and his money, and he can't allow himself to be held back. And if they truly love him and care about him, and if they are his real friends, then they will understand that he's got to make this choice and he's got to stand firm in it and doing it. And they're saying in terms of his music career, he's going to continue to go through, money issues because these people might be feeling some type of way about him leaving. And so they might try to cause issues in terms of his music career. So we already knew that, but that's a future prediction. Personal life, mice in reverse, bird perch kind of coming out sideways, chair empty in reverse, dark woman, hat, and bear. So in terms of his personal life, like I said, this woman is working against him. Like they always have the arguments and discord with his mice. But it's a chase. It's a cat and mouse thing where they're constantly, on again, off again in terms of the relationship. And he's always waiting for her to hit him up and come back like she's leaving his life. And then she comes back. That's exactly what I said. They have an on again, off again relationship. And in terms of the situation, they're telling him that it's going to get more dangerous with this woman. Like she's a very dark person spiritually, and in terms of her personality and her character, she's cold-hearted, she's not nice. And they're saying that she's causing danger in terms of his money matters and his money and everything that he's doing in terms of his life. And they're saying that he needs to play a different role, which is you will be playing a different role. He needs to put that hat down. He needs to stop dealing with her because she's capping to him, she's lying to him, and she's continuing to cause issues for him. So they're saying that in terms of future predictions, she's going to keep causing problems in terms of his finances. And at some point, he's going to have to put the hat down and turn it off and cut her water off. He got to cut her water off and stop dealing with her completely because that situation is causing him issues and he's not able to fully integrate with this actual wisdom. It's like they're saying he's making bad decisions because he's allowing himself to be motivated by his actual nature. Like he's not like I said, his crown chakra is overactivated. He's in his ego self. He's not integrated when it comes to his mind, body, and soul. He's not at peace. He don't have balance. He's not making the right decisions. He's not with this watch your words. It's like he's allowing this woman to keep saying whatever to get him to pull back with this transformation. Every time he make a couple of steps forward, she pulls him 3 steps back. He's allowing her to pretty much confuse him and allowing her charisma to overtake him. And they're saying that it's time for him to really move forward, I can't make it up, but stand his ground and be the true divine masculine that he is, right? It's okay to be, a sensitive person and love people and care about people and, want to help them and be kind and nurturing and caring, but he has to stand his ground and stand in his divine feminine nature, and that means not backing down, not letting someone take advantage of him, not letting somebody use him and abuse him. All right, so that's what I have in terms of G-Dragon. Let's send him a lot of prayers and hope that he could truly stand in his divine nature and allow those the sparks of the divine to ignite his passions and let him go after what truly makes him happy. All right, so that's what I have. I hope that you guys enjoyed. Let me know. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing more things in terms of G-Dragon and his solo career. Love you guys, and I'll see y'all later.